All right, so today we're diving into a really interesting story about how a company most of us know, Henkel, decided to shake things up, even when they were already doing pretty well.
Hmm.
We're talking, Persol, Loctite, those big brands.
Yeah.
Our source material is a 2012 Financial Times article.
Okay.
And it's a classic case study of how to drive change when things are, well, good enough.
Yeah. It's funny how success can sometimes make you just want to, stay put, right?
Right.
If a company's doing well year after year, there's a real reluctance to change anything.
Yeah.
But things change, right?
Absolutely.
Markets change, competitors get better, and suddenly good enough just isn't good enough.
Exactly. And that's what I found so interesting about this Henkel story.
Hmm.
The article paints this picture of Henkel in 2008, over a century old, family-controlled, with solid growth in earnings.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty comfortable, right?
Yeah, from the outside looking in, for sure.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Henkel's profitability was actually lower than its competitors. Some are even calling them complacent.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, not something you want to hear when you're a global brand.
Not at all.
So in comes Kasper Rorsted, the new CEO,
Mm-hmm.
brought in to, well, shake things up a bit.
Yeah.
And get this, he came from the fast-paced world of IT.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a culture clash.
That's a big shift for sure.
Right. If you think about it, the tech industry is all about agility, innovation, constant change.
Mm.
Very different from a company that's been successful for over 100 years.
Yeah, you got to wonder, how do you even begin to change the culture of a company like that?
That's the question.
Culture shift, that's a term we hear a lot these days.
Yeah.
It basically means changing those core values, beliefs, behaviors that drive how everyone works together in a company. It's really hard to do.
I bet.
You're trying to change how people think and act, not just tweak a system here and there.
Right, right.
It's a big deal.
So how did Rorsted even begin to tackle this?
Well, the article talks about this bold three-pronged approach.
Yeah, I was just getting to that.
Oh, okay.
First up, ambitious targets. Boosting profit margins to 14% by 2012, growing sales faster than the market, really going after emerging markets.
Mm-hmm.
And they made these goals public.
That's interesting.
Why do you think they did that?
Making it public, it's like a statement, right?
Right.
Holds them accountable, both to employees and to investors, is
Yeah.
saying, we're serious about this.
Okay. Ambitious targets, check.
Yeah.
Second, efficiency and focus.
Uh-huh.
Henkel had over 1,000 brands.
Wow.
They streamlined that down to less than 400, consolidated factories, centralized operations, really simplified things.
Simplifying on that scale, that could be risky, right?
How so?
Well, you could lose valuable expertise, disrupt relationships, maybe even stifle innovation if you cut too much.
Yeah.
It's a balancing act, simplifying without losing what makes the company unique.
So you've got employees who are used to doing things a certain way, maybe even attached to specific brands or processes.
Yeah, exactly.
And suddenly, those things are gone.
Yeah, there's going to be pushback.
Absolutely.
That's why the third part of their strategy was so crucial, focusing on a new vision and set of values.
Oh, right. They narrowed it down to 5 core values.
Yep, and they really hammered those home.
Yeah, the article mentioned over 5,000 workshops with employees.
5,000.
5,000. Talk about commitment to changing the culture.
That's a lot of workshop.
But how do you make sure those values aren't just empty words?
You got to weave them into everything the company does.
Mm-hmm.
Every decision, every interaction with each other, with customers.
Yeah.
Leadership has to embody those values.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, but it's the only way to make real change.
So we've got these ambitious targets, efficiency, and this big focus on values.
Yeah.
How do these all fit together? What if you only focus on 1 or 2 of them?
Well, it's like, imagine a 3-legged stool.
Okay.
You take away one leg, the whole thing falls apart.
Makes sense.
So you set those ambitious targets, but without strong values.
Mm-hmm.
People might cut corners, do things unethically just to hit the targets.
Yeah.
Or you could focus on efficiency, but forget about the people.
Right.
You end up with a workplace that's cold and uninspiring.
It's got to be all 3 working together.
That's the key, yeah.
Coming from that tech world, Rorsted could have easily focused just on targets and efficiency.
True.
But it seems like he understood how important the human element is, the culture, in making lasting change.
Yeah, that's often overlooked in these big transformations.
Yeah.
It's not just about numbers and processes.
It's about people.
Exactly. It's about giving them a shared sense of purpose, making them believe in where the company's going.
That's powerful.
That's what drives real engagement, and in the end, success.
So they had this big vision, but did it work?
Well, the article lays out some pretty impressive results.
Yeah.
They didn't just meet their 2012 sales target, they blew past it, over $20 billion.
Wow.
They hit their 14% profit margin.
Nice.
And they made real progress in those emerging markets and consolidating their manufacturing.
That's amazing.
What's really interesting, though, is what it tells us about change itself.
What do you mean?
It's not just about setting goals, it's about aligning everything you do with those goals. Your actions, your systems, your culture.
Right.
It's about empowering everyone to be part of the change.
I like that.
It's like building a ship while you're sailing it.
Yeah.
Making huge changes while still running a global business, and they did it.
They really did.
But it wasn't just about the big picture.
What else?
They revamped their performance management system too, and that's where things get really interesting.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
Well, it wasn't your typical performance review.
Oh.
It was all tied to their new strategy, aligning individual goals with the company's objectives.
That's fascinating. We'll have to dive into that more after the break.
Yeah.
So tell me more about this revamped performance management system.
Well, it wasn't your typical performance review where you just sit down with your boss and they tell you what you did well and what you need to improve.
Right.
Henkel took it a step further. They had these development roundtables.
Development roundtables.
Yeah, where managers would review their direct reports across different teams.
So you're getting feedback not just from your own boss, but from other managers who've worked with you.
Exactly. It's like a 360-degree feedback system.
I can see how that could be helpful, but also maybe a little intimidating.
I think that's part of what makes it so effective.
How so?
It gives you a much broader perspective on your contributions, your strengths, your areas for growth.
Multiple sets of eyes, so to speak.
Exactly. And it helps create a culture of growth and development.
I like that.
It's not just about identifying weaknesses. It's about recognizing strengths and helping people build on them.
So these evaluations, they had a big impact on bonuses, right?
Yeah, the article mentioned that.
Which makes sense. You want to reward people for contributing to the company's success. But I also wonder, is there a downside to tying compensation so closely to performance?
That's a great question, and it's something a lot of companies struggle with. On the one hand, linking pay to performance can be really motivating, right?
Right.
It creates a clear connection between what you do and what you earn.
Makes sense.
But it can also backfire if you're not careful.
In what way?
Well, it could create a culture of, cutthroat competition.
Oh, I see.
Where people are more focused on their own individual success than on working together as a team.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Right.
You want everyone working together, supporting each other, celebrating collective achievements.
Absolutely.
If people are too focused on their own bonus, it could undermine that sense of teamwork.
So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly, where individual ambition helps the whole team succeed.
And that's where those company values come in, right?
Exactly.
If you have a strong culture of collaboration, respect, commitment to the mission, then linking performance to rewards can actually work really well.
It all ties together.
So zooming out a bit, what are some of the big takeaways from Henkel's story? Things that our listener could apply to their own work or even their personal life?
Well, for me, it's the importance of having a growth mindset.
What do you mean by that?
Henkel wasn't content with just being good. They wanted to be better.
Even though they were already successful?
Yeah, they recognized that they needed to adapt, to evolve, to keep striving for more.
It's like they were saying good enough isn't good enough.
Exactly. And that's something we can all apply to our lives, whether it's our careers, our relationships, our personal growth. It's about being willing to challenge the status quo, to get out of our comfort zones, to see change as an opportunity.
It's so easy to get complacent, to settle into routines, to just accept things as they are.
I know, right?
But Henkel's story reminds us that we can always make things better, push ourselves further, achieve more than we thought possible.
And it doesn't have to be some huge company-wide transformation.
Right.
It could be setting a new goal, learning a new skill, taking on a new challenge.
Yeah, those small steps can make a big difference.
It's about having that drive to grow, to keep moving forward.
I'm thinking about their three-pronged approach, those ambitious targets, the focus on efficiency, and doubling down on their values.
Yeah.
It seems like a really good framework for making any kind of change.
Those three elements, they work together to create a powerful engine for transformation.
I see what you mean.
You've got the ambition to set the direction, the focus to make it happen, and the values to guide you along the way.
The values piece is so important.
It really is.
It's not enough to just want to achieve something. You have to know why you're doing it, what principles are guiding your decisions.
It's about building something meaningful, something that aligns with your deeper purpose.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought, one question you would leave our listener with?
Let me think. I would say this. Think about one area of your life. It could be work, a relationship, a personal goal, where you feel like you've plateaued. What's one small step you can take today to shake things up, to re-energize that area, and start moving forward again?
That's a great challenge. It's a reminder that we all have the power to create change, to break out of those ruts, and to keep growing.
And remember, change doesn't have to be scary or overwhelming.
Right.
It can start with a single step, a shift in perspective, a renewed commitment to growth.
Well said. So there you have it, a deep dive into Henkel's transformation and hopefully some inspiration for your own journey.
I hope so.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.
Yeah, it's easy to kind of get stuck in a rut.
It is. It's easy to get comfortable, fall into routines, and just kind of lose that spark, you know?
But like we saw with Henkel, even when things are going well, there's always room to improve.
Absolutely. There's always a new challenge out there, something new to learn, a new way to grow.
It doesn't have to be some huge, massive change, right?
Not at all.
It could be something small, like changing your perspective on something, starting a new habit.
Oh, I love that. Just finding little ways to grow every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, thinking about Henkel and all the changes they made.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. They were already known for quality, innovation. They were a leader in their industry.
That's what makes their story so interesting, right?
Yeah.
They weren't failing, they weren't in trouble.
They were already successful.
But they still saw that they could be even better.
And they actually did something about it
They made those tough decisions.
and really pushed themselves to that next level.
It shows that we can all grow and transform, that we can achieve more than we think we can.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into Henkel, what's one final thought, one last piece of advice you'd give our listener?
Well, here's what I'd say.
Okay.
Think about one area of your life, whether it's work, a relationship, a personal goal, where you feel like you've hit a plateau.
Mm-hmm.
What's one small thing you can do today to shake things up a little, to re-energize that part of your life and start moving forward again?
It's a great challenge to leave our listeners with.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that we all have the power to make changes, to get out of those ruts, and to keep growing.
And remember, change doesn't have to be scary or overwhelming.
Right.
It can start with just one small step, a shift in how you see things, a renewed commitment to growth.
Well said.
Thanks.
So there you have it, folks, a deep dive into Henkel's transformation.
Fascinating story.
And hopefully some inspiration for you to take on your own challenges and make positive changes in your life.
Yeah, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.
Absolutely. Until next time.